Lily Harper wiped down the bar at Ember and Oak for the third time that evening, her feet screaming in the required heels. The restaurant buzzed with the usual Friday night crowd, tech executives from San Francisco's financial district mixing, with old money families who treated servers like furniture. She had been working here for 6 months, ever since she moved from Atlanta with nothing but 2 suitcases and a heart full of regrets. The manager, Vincent, appeared at her elbow, his face tight with that expression he wore when someone important walked through the door. He gripped her arm and pulled her aside near the kitchen entrance. Table 12 needs dedicated service. That's Tae-woo Choi. You know who that is? Lily shook her head. Vincent's eyes widened like she had just admitted to not knowing the president. He owns half the commercial real estate in this city. Maybe more in Los Angeles. You do not mess this up. You smile, you serve, you stay invisible. Got it? Lily nodded, though irritation prickled at the back of her neck. She was tired of being invisible. But rent was due in 5 days, and she was still $200 short, so she plastered on her best smile and headed toward table 12. The booth sat in the corner, deliberately separated from the main dining area. The man sitting there looked like he had been carved from stone. Tae-woo Choi wore a navy suit that fit him like it had been painted on, every line precise and intentional. His dark hair was styled back from a face that would have been handsome if not for the complete absence of warmth in his expression. He stared at nothing in particular, his posture rigid, his hands perfectly still on the table. I welcome you, my beautiful family and friends. Please click subscribe. Do well to like this video and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps us bring more thrilling stories, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now let's continue. Good evening. My name is Lily and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with something to drink? His eyes lifted to her face, dark and unreadable. For a moment he said nothing, just studied her like she was a problem he needed to solve. Then his voice came, flat and controlled. Whiskey, neat. No please, no smile, just the order. Lily kept her expression pleasant and nodded before heading to the bar. As she waited for the bartender to pour the drink, she glanced back at the booth. Tae-woo had not moved. He sat alone while the event happening across the restaurant continued without him. People glanced his way but quickly looked elsewhere. The fear was subtle but unmistakable. She delivered his drink and took his food order, which he gave in the same emotionless tone. Throughout the evening, she checked on him periodically. He never asked for anything extra, never complained, never acknowledged her beyond the bare minimum. Yet something about him unsettled her. Beneath that icy exterior, she sensed a hollow emptiness that felt familiar. She had seen it in her own mirror after her ex-boyfriend convinced her to move across the country, then abandoned her when things got difficult. Near the end of her shift, Lily balanced a tray of empty glasses as she navigated through the crowded restaurant. One of the guests, clearly drunk, stumbled backward into her path. She tried to dodge, but her heel caught on the leg of a chair. Time slowed. The tray flew from her hands, glasses shattering across the floor as she fell forward, landing directly in Tae-woo's lap. Her hands grabbed his shoulders to steady herself. Their faces were inches apart. His eyes went wide, shock breaking through that controlled mask. Beneath her, his entire body tensed, and she felt something shift, something physical and undeniable. Heat flooded her face. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. She scrambled off him, nearly tripping again. I'm so sorry, sir. Someone bumped me and I just... Vincent appeared instantly, his face red with panic and rage. Mr. Choi, I am so deeply sorry. This is completely unacceptable. Lily, you're... Tae-woo raised one hand, silencing him. His voice was quiet but carried absolute authority. It was an accident. She is not to be punished. Then he stood abruptly, his movements slightly unsteady, and walked out of the restaurant without another word or a backward glance. Lily stood there, shaking, surrounded by broken glass. Vincent stared after Tae-woo, then at her, clearly torn between fury and confusion. He finally just waved her toward the back to clean up. As Lily swept up the shards, she noticed something on the table. $500 bills lay beside Tae-woo's empty glass. She stared at the money, her heart pounding. Something had happened in that brief moment of contact, something she did not understand but could not forget. The way his body had responded, the shock in his eyes, it felt like she had woken something up inside him. What Lily did not know was that Tae-woo sat in the back of his car 3 blocks away, his hands trembling against his thighs. For 3 years, since a brutal attack by a rival organization left him with internal injuries that required multiple surgeries, he had felt nothing. No desire, No physical response. Nothing. Doctors said the damage might be permanent. He had tried every treatment, every medication, every alternative therapy. He had resigned himself to a half-life, burying himself in his business empire and maintaining his reputation through calculated power moves and carefully cultivated fear. Until a fair-skinned black woman with exhausted eyes fell into his lap and woke up everything he thought was dead forever. 3 days later, Lily arrived home after a double shift to find a cream-colored envelope slipped under her apartment door. Inside was a handwritten note on expensive stationery and a business card. The note was brief and formal. MS. Harper, I would appreciate the opportunity to speak with you regarding a professional matter. Please meet me at the address below tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon. Tae-woo Choi. Business card listed an address in the financial district that Lily recognized as one of the most exclusive buildings in the city. Her roommate, Jasmine, read the note over her shoulder and whistled low. Girl, this is either the best opportunity of your life or the beginning of a true crime podcast. Maybe both. Lily spent the night going back and forth. Part of her wanted to ignore it to stay in her safe, struggling existence. But curiosity won. She borrowed a blazer from Jasmine and took the bus downtown the next afternoon. The building was all glass and steel, towering over the financial district like a monument to wealth. Inside, the lobby gleamed with polished marble and modern art that probably cost more than Lily would make in 10 years. The receptionist made a call, then handed Lily a key card for the private elevator. The ride to the top floor felt endless. When the doors opened, she stepped into a space that looked more like a luxury penthouse than an office. Floor to ceiling, windows offered views of the entire San Francisco Bay. A woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and perfectly styled hair greeted her. MS. Harper, I'm Mrs. Han, Mr. Choi's executive assistant. Please follow me. Before we continue with this stories, I need you to do something for me. I pour my heart into these movies, and it genuinely hurts when people watch without subscribing. Please just take 1 second and subscribe. It's free and it means the world to me. Also, drop a comment telling me which city you are watching from. I want to know where all my amazing viewers are located. Thank you. She led Lily through the minimalist space to a set of double doors, knocked once and opened them. Tae-woo stood by the windows, his back to the room. He turned when she entered, and for a moment neither spoke. Mrs. Han closed the doors, leaving them alone. Thank you for coming. His voice was the same controlled tone from the restaurant. Please, sit. Lily sat in one of the leather chairs facing his desk but did not relax. Why did you ask me here? Tae-woo moved to his desk but did not sit. He seemed to be choosing his words carefully. I have a proposition. I need someone to accompany me to social events, business dinners, public appearances. A professional arrangement. You would be compensated $10,000 per month, paid in advance with bonuses for special events. The arrangement would last 6 months with the possibility of extension. Lily blinked. $10,000 a month. That was more than she made in 3 months at the restaurant. Why me? You don't know me. You are exactly what I need. Someone genuine, someone who does not come from my world. He paused. The arrangement is strictly professional. You would not be expected to do anything inappropriate. I simply need your presence. Nothing about this made sense. Men like Tae-woo did not hire random servers for vague companionship roles. But Lily thought about her mother working 2 jobs back in Atlanta to support her younger brother. She thought about her own dreams collecting dust. I need time to think about it. You have 24 hours. He opened a drawer and pulled out an envelope. This contains a contract and a check for $5,000. Consider it a signing bonus, yours to keep regardless of your decision. That night, Lily read the contract 3 times with Jasmine. It was surprisingly straightforward, no hidden clauses, nothing inappropriate. Just an agreement to attend events and maintain a professional relationship with Tae-woo for 6 months. By morning, she made her decision. She sent a text to the number on his business card. I accept. Deal. Her new life began immediately. A stylist named Priya met her at a boutique in Palo Alto, fitting her for a wardrobe that made Lily feel like she was playing dress-up in someone else's life. Dresses, shoes, accessories, everything carefully selected to project wealth and sophistication. The first event was a business dinner at a private club in Atherton. Tae-woo picked her up in a sleek sedan driven by a silent man named Jun. The drive was quiet, Tae-woo absorbed in documents on his tablet. Inside the club, Lily felt every eye on her. The room was filled with people who radiated power. Tae-woo introduced her simply as Lily, offering no explanation. Nobody dared to ask. Throughout dinner, she played her part, smiling politely and speaking only when spoken to. She noticed how people treated Tae-woo with a strange mix of respect and fear. They agreed with everything he said, laughed at his subtle remarks, never challenged him. After the dinner, as they walked back to the car, Lily could not hold back anymore. "Why did you really hire me? I don't believe this is just about appearances." Tae-woo stopped walking. For the first time, she saw vulnerability crack through his expression. "I told you the truth, just not all of it." He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. "For 3 years, I have felt nothing, physically or emotionally. I accepted that as my reality, until you fell into my lap. In that moment, something changed. I felt something I thought was gone forever. I need to understand if it was a fluke or if there is something about you specifically." Lily did not know how to respond. Part of her wanted to run from this strange confession, but another part felt unexpected compassion for this powerful man who had everything except what he wanted most. "Continue the arrangement," she said quietly. "But if this gets weird, I'm out." "Understood." Over the following weeks, they fell into a routine. Lily accompanied Tae-woo to events across San Francisco, Los Angeles, even a weekend trip to Menlo Park for a tech summit. She learned to navigate his world, to read the unspoken power dynamics. She also began to see past his cold exterior. In private moments between events, he asked her about her life, her family, her dreams. He remembered small details she mentioned in passing. One evening after an event in Beverly Hills, they sat in the car outside her apartment. Tae-woo stared out the window. "I have not felt this comfortable around anyone in years." "Maybe because you keep everyone at a distance," Lily said gently. "Fear and respect are not the same as connection." Her words hit him harder than she realized. For the first time in a long time, Tae-woo wondered if he had been living wrong. A month into their arrangement, Lily started noticing changes in Tae-woo. He smiled more small expressions that most people would miss. He made dry jokes. He began to touch her casually, a hand on her lower back as they entered rooms, his fingers brushing hers when handing her something. Each touch was brief but intentional, and the electricity between them grew stronger. Lily tried to maintain emotional distance. This was a job, well-paid and temporary. But it was getting harder to ignore the way her heart raced when he looked at her, the way his presence filled a room, the way he made her feel truly seen. One night after a charity auction in Hillsborough, Tae-woo invited her to his home for the first time. The estate was tucked into the hills, surrounded by security. Inside, the house blended modern design with traditional Korean elements. Despite its size, it felt empty, no personal photos, no signs of life beyond the essentials. They sat in his living room, wine in her hand, tea in his. The conversation drifted from business to personal territory. Lily asked about his family. Tae-woo's expression darkened. "My father built the foundation of our empire but died when I was young. My mother passed a few years later. I was raised by my uncle who taught me that power is the only currency that matters. Emotions were weaknesses. Relationships were transactions. I followed that philosophy for years, but it left me hollow." Lily listened without judgment. She shared her own story. Growing up watching her mother struggle, her ex-boyfriend who convinced her to move across the country with promises before abandoning her when things got hard. "Have trust issues," she admitted. "I'm terrified of being used again." Tae-woo reached across the space and took her hand. "I will never use you. You have given me something I cannot repay." Tears pricked her eyes. She did not pull away. They sat like that for a long time, the silence comfortable and charged. As she was about to leave, Tae-woo walked her to the door. He hesitated. "Can I try something?" Her heart pounded, but she nodded. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. When his lips touched hers, it was soft and tentative. Then something shifted. The kiss deepened, and Lily felt the intensity of everything he had been holding back. When they pulled apart, both were breathing hard. Tae-woo looked at her with an expression she had never seen before. Hope. The kiss changed everything. Over the next weeks, the line between professional arrangement and something real blurred completely. They spent time together outside scheduled events. Tae-woo took her to quiet restaurants in Sausalito, where they could talk without being watched. They walked along the waterfront in Tiburon, where the views were stunning, and the air smelled like salt and freedom. Lily found herself falling for him despite every warning her brain screamed, but their growing relationship did not go unnoticed. Whispers began circulating. People wondered who this woman was and why she had such influence over a man known for emotional detachment. Lily started feeling the weight of scrutiny every time they appeared in public. The tension exploded at a business meeting in Newport Beach. Tae-woo was finalizing a major property deal with investors. He insisted Lily come inside instead of waiting in the car. During the meeting, one of the investors, a middle-aged man named Richard, made a snide comment about Tae-woo bringing his entertainment to a business meeting. The room went silent. Lily's face flushed with anger and humiliation. Before she could respond, Tae-woo stood. His voice turned to ice. "You have exactly 10 seconds to apologize, or this deal is off and you will find yourself blacklisted from every major investment opportunity on the West Coast." Richard stammered an apology. Tae-woo did not sit back down. "Lily is not a topic for discussion. Anyone who disrespects her disrespects me." He took Lily's hand and walked out, leaving the investors scrambling to salvage the deal. In the car, Lily was shaking. "You didn't have to do that. You just risked a major deal for me." Tae-woo's response was firm. "No deal is worth your dignity. You matter more to me than any amount of money or power." Lily realized in that moment that she was in love with him, truly and completely, and it terrified her. That night she tried to create distance. "Maybe we should stick to the original arrangement, keep things professional." Tae-woo stepped closer. "Is that really what you want?" Lily could not answer. He cupped her face in his hands. "I am done pretending. I am done living half a life. I want you, all of you, if you will have me." Her resolve crumbled. She kissed him, and this time there was no hesitation, no fear, just the truth of what they both felt. For a few weeks, everything felt perfect. Lily moved into a beautiful condo in Pacific Heights with views of the Golden Gate Bridge. She continued working at the restaurant part-time, refusing to be completely dependent on Tae-woo. They were no longer hiding their relationship, appearing together openly. While some people disapproved, most were too intimidated by Tae-woo to say anything. But happiness in Tae-woo's world was fragile. One afternoon, while Lily was at the condo, a woman named Soo-jin arrived. She was elegant and poised, dressed in designer clothes that screamed old money. She introduced herself as Tae-woo's former fiancé. Lily was stunned. Tae-woo never mentioned an ex-fiancé. Soo-jin was polite but condescending. "Tae-woo and I were engaged 4 years ago before his accident." After the attack left him injured, he broke off the engagement, claiming he could not give me the life I deserved. "I have spent years waiting for him to come back to me." She looked Lily up and down. "I wanted to see what kind of woman could make Tae-woo forget his past. He will eventually realize he belongs with someone from his own world, someone who understands his responsibilities." After Soo-jin left, Lily was shaken. She confronted Tae-woo that evening. He admitted that Soo-jin was telling the truth about their past engagement, but insisted it was over and had been for years. "I broke things off because I knew I could not be the man she needed. I refused to trap her in a loveless arrangement. I had no idea she was still holding on to hope." Lily wanted to believe him, but doubt crept in. She wondered if she was just a novelty, a distraction from the reality of Tae-woo's world. Tae-woo sensed her pulling away and became desperate to prove his commitment. "You are not a distraction. You are the first real thing I have felt in years, and I am not letting you go." Despite his assurances, the seed of doubt had been planted. Lily started noticing how his business contacts treated her with thinly veiled skepticism, how his world operated on rules she did not fully understand. She wondered if love was enough to bridge the gap between their worlds. The conflict reached its peak when Tae-woo was invited to a high-profile event in Los Altos Hills. The event was a gathering of influential business leaders held at a massive estate overlooking Silicon Valley. Lily agreed to attend but felt the pressure more than ever. At the event, the guests were billionaires, tech moguls, people whose names appeared in Forbes lists. Lily tried to blend in, but she felt like an imposter. The women whispered when she passed, their eyes filled with judgment. Midway through the evening, Soo-jin appeared. She approached Tae-woo and Lily with a bright smile, acting as though their previous conversation never happened. She engaged Tae-woo in conversation about mutual acquaintances and business matters, effectively freezing Lily out. When Soo-jin suggested she and Tae-woo step outside to discuss a potential business collaboration, Tae-woo hesitated. He looked at Lily, clearly torn. Lily said quietly, "It's fine." But it was not fine, and they both knew it. Tae-woo left with Soo-jin, and Lily was left standing alone. She stepped outside onto a terrace, needing air. A few minutes later, an older woman joined her. The woman introduced herself as Margaret, a philanthropist and longtime friend of Tae-woo's late mother. I have been watching you all evening. You are struggling. Margaret shared her own story of marrying into a world that did not accept her. I was a school teacher from a modest background who fell in love with a wealthy businessman. It took years to earn respect. There were times I wanted to give up, but I stayed because love was worth fighting for. Margaret's words gave Lily perspective. She realized she had been letting fear and insecurity control her decisions. If she truly loved Tae-woo, she needed to stop waiting for the other shoe to drop and start building the life she wanted with him. When Tae-woo returned, he found Lily still on the terrace. He started to apologize, but Lily stopped him. I am done being afraid. I am done letting other people define our relationship. I love you, and I want to make this work, no matter how hard it gets. Tae-woo pulled her into his arms, relief washing over his face. I love you too. I will spend the rest of my life proving you made the right choice. Do well to subscribe if you haven't done so, like the video, comment where you're watching from as well. Thank you. The weeks following the event brought new stability. Tae-woo made it clear to everyone that Lily was not going anywhere. He stopped attending events where she was not welcome and cut ties with people who disrespected her. Soojin made one more attempt to interfere, but Tae-woo shut her down definitively, telling her she needed to move on because he had. Lily began finding her own footing. She enrolled in business courses and reconnected with her passion for event planning. Tae-woo supported her completely, offering resources and connections but never taking over. He wanted her to succeed on her own terms. One evening, as they sat together in his home, Tae-woo told her something he had been holding back. After his injury, doctors said the physical damage was likely permanent. He had tried everything, but nothing worked until Lily. I do not have a medical explanation for why your presence, your touch, woke something up inside me, but I do not need one. You saved me in ways that go beyond the physical. Lily was moved by his honesty. You saved me too. From a life where I stopped believing I deserved more. They made love that night, and it was everything that first touch promised, intense, emotional, and healing for both of them. A few days later, Tae-woo received a message from his uncle, a man he had not spoken to in over a year. His uncle demanded a meeting. He had heard about Lily and was not pleased. Tae-woo knew this confrontation was coming. The meeting took place at a private residence in Woodside. Tae-woo's uncle, Mr. Choi, did not waste time on pleasantries. He told Tae-woo that his relationship with Lily was damaging his reputation and the family legacy. He insisted Tae-woo end things and settle down with someone appropriate. Tae-woo's response was calm but unyielding. I respect the foundation that was built, but I am not living my life according to someone else's rules anymore. Lily is the woman I love, and I am not giving her up. If that means losing your approval, so be it. Mr. Choi was furious but recognized the steel in Tae-woo's voice. He realized his nephew had changed, that the cold, controlled man who followed every expectation was gone. In his place was someone who had found something worth fighting for. Mr. Choi left without giving his blessing, but did not threaten or retaliate. It was a small victory, but significant. 6 months after Lily first walked into Tae-woo's office, her life was almost unrecognizable. She launched her own event planning business, specializing in corporate and private events. Her first major client was a tech entrepreneur in Cupertino who was impressed by her ideas and professionalism. The job was a success and word spread quickly. Within weeks, she had a waiting list of clients. Tae-woo was proud of her, but more than that, he was grateful. She had given him back his life, his ability to feel, to connect, to hope. He had also noticed changes in himself. He was more patient, more willing to listen, more open to vulnerability. His business had not suffered. In fact, he was more focused and strategic than ever, but now he had balance. One evening, Tae-woo took Lily back to Ember and Oak. He had reserved the entire place for the night. Lily was confused but went along. When they arrived, the space was transformed with candles and flowers. Soft music played in the background. Tae-woo led her to the same booth where she fell into his lap all those months ago. This is where my life changed, where I went from existing to living. He took her hand. I do not believe in fate, but I believe in you. I believe in what we have built together. He got down on one knee and pulled out a ring. It was simple but stunning, a single diamond set in platinum. Will you marry me? Will you be my partner in every sense of the word? Lily's eyes filled with tears. She did not hesitate. Yes. Tae-woo slid the ring onto her finger, and they kissed, surrounded by the place where their story began. A year later, Lily and Tae-woo were married, living in a home they designed together in Portola Valley. The house blended modern and traditional elements, representing both of their backgrounds. Lily's event planning business had grown beyond her wildest dreams. She hired a small team and was planning events across California. Tae-woo had streamlined his business operations, delegating more so he could spend time with the people who mattered. They hosted a small gathering at their home, inviting the people who supported them. Jasmine was there, now dating a lawyer she met through Lily's business connections. Mrs. Han attended with her husband. Even Margaret, the woman who gave Lily advice at that pivotal event, came. As the evening wound down, Lily and Tae-woo stood on their terrace, overlooking the hills. Lily rested her head on his shoulder, reflecting on how far they had both come. From two broken people who thought they had nothing left to give, to a couple who built something real and lasting, Tae-woo wrapped his arm around her. "You are my miracle," Lily smiled. "You are mine too." Story ended with them standing together, not as two separate people trying to fit into each other's worlds, but as partners who created a world all their own, one built on love, respect, and the courage to choose each other every single day. Thank you for watching to the end. Please remember to click the subscribe button and make sure you like this video and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Thank you.